episode 40 of Off Script with Trish Glose, intimate interviews and fun conversations with interesting people. In front of my mic today is Vinny DiCostanzo. Hi, Vinny.
Number 40, Trish. I'm number 40.
40.
I waited. I kept saying no for 39 times, just so you know. 39 times I wanted to be 40. And so here we are, 40 already. I can't believe it.
Okay, so first of all, I have to apologize for being late this morning.
It's okay.
It's the story of my life. And my husband says, if you're on time, you're 10 minutes late.
That's very good, because if you're not 10 minutes early, you're not on time.
Right, and you were early.
I was early because you said I had to be here, and I was here. And in all your text message, I could read them to you. I'm going to keep you for 45 minutes, and I can set you free.
Okay.
And I was here early.
Okay, jeez. You're really throwing me under the bus. Yeah. No, I apologize. You're always early.
Yeah.
You are. You're always early. You're always ready. You're always prepared. Okay. You're just nodding your head.
Just wing it.
Also, I just want to share, my mic system is very high tech in this podcast room. They're on a stack. You can't see them if you're watching the video portion, but they're on a stack of CDs. Vinny will show you. Yeah, they're on a stack of CDs for the height. Vinny has already come in and completely ripped apart my podcast room. He's like, I don't want this high. I'm taking these CDs out, which is how you do things in life.
Yeah. Now you're throwing me under the bus.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Also, one last thing before we get started.
Okay.
Did you notice
we didn't start?
Your mug of water?
Yes. Yeah, because when I went to move it, it was in the way, and I thought it was empty.
But do you see what's on the mug? It's my mug. My mug is on your mug. This is the first time we've ever used these mugs, by the way.
See? I told you it was...
Cheers.
So, my morning coffee now.
Uh-huh. Cool, right?
Coffee with Trish, first thing in the a.m.
Pretty cool. These are...
So I get to keep this, right?
I'll see how you do in the podcast, and then I'll determine whether or not you get to keep...
So I don't get to keep a coffee mug for coming here for 45 minutes this morning. No, I'm taking the coffee mug. So,
I'm taking it.
Yeah.
I do want to give a shout out to Moxley Media for creating these mugs for me. They're nice, right?
Actually, you know what? They are very nice, very professionally done. And, you know, the woman on there,
she's not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, Vinny, let's do this.
Let's ask questions.
Where are you from originally?
I am from Westchester, New York. It's a very special place.
Why? Why is it so special?
Because that's where they raise a lot of good people.
DiCostanzos.
Yeah, DiCostanzos. Well, actually, that's not where they raise them. That's just where my family landed.
Okay.
Am I moving away from the microphone
just
too much?
A little bit. You give the mic just a little bit of love. I mean, I know you're a loud guy, but
yeah,
because you're from New York.
So yeah, a stereotype. But yeah, that's true.
Where's your dad from?
Okay, so my dad is from Ischia, the island of Ischia, off of the coast of Naples. It is a most amazing, beautiful, volcanic island. And it's actually called the Gem of Europe. So it's where everybody in Europe goes to vacation, this little tiny island of Ischia. So people from all over the world go there, all over Europe. That's where they end up, and it's a beautiful place.
And that's where your people are from.
That's where my people. If you go there, everyone looks like me.
Nuh-uh.
Everybody. It's like a bunch of Vinnies. Well, maybe I'm just one of them. But they are amazing people. I have to say this. I can't say it enough. We were just there again 2 years ago, back at my family's house there, and it was probably the best time. Gina was there, of course, my wife, my daughter, Sophia. We went with my parents, and we met my Uncle Peter there, and we got to see everybody else, my cousins and whatnot, but it was beautiful.
I can't imagine. My mom's side of the family is kind of that Irish, English, hence the fair skin, the red hair. My dad's side of the family is Polish, and so I've heard the Polacks look a lot like that side, like the Baruki side. So I can't imagine going somewhere and kind of having everyone look like you a little bit. That would be super fun.
No, it's great. They talk like you. Everybody's a Paisan. Like here, people, they don't even know. You say Paisan, they look at the name of the restaurant. Paisan, they don't know how to say. But everybody there, hey, Paisan, hey, Paisan, hey, Paisan, all day long.
Paisan is friend, right?
Yeah, friend.
Pal.
It's a guy from the same place, a guy from the same, town.
I like it.
So.
When did your dad come to the States?
Okay, I was trying to think about that. I didn't think that would be a question, but I was trying to go back over. I was born in 1972.
Okay.
So I'm still very young.
So young.
And so 1972 is when I was born. I believe 69 is when my father came over.
Okay.
And there was a little history there. He came over, worked for my Uncle Peter in one of his restaurants, who had just come over himself. Then he had to leave. Then he had to go to Canada. Then he got kicked out, had to go back home. You know, it's a whole story.
Yikes.
Then, of course, my mom went and chased him down in Italy, and then they got married. And
like a good woman
that's
should.
it. Yeah, she didn't let him go, so she went and got him. And
she seriously went to Italy, brought him back?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's a long story there, but she did. She left. She got on a plane, and then she got there, and then she had to take, I guess, a helicopter to this and then that.
Jeez.
They found, that was it.
Okay. And now your mom is from where?
My mom is from the Bronx, New York.
Okay, so she's a New Yorker.
Yeah, her father's from Italy.
Okay.
And my great grandfather's from Italy, but my mother was born, I believe, in New Rochelle, New York, she was born in the Bronx, New York, then raised in New Rochelle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she met your dad in New York when he came over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that love story?
I know some of it.
Okay.
I know some funny parts of it.
What's the funny part?
It's kind of funny, but because I guess when she went to find him after they met, my aunt Lynette, who was married to my uncle Peter, introduced them. My aunt Lynette and my mother were friends, and so they met. Of course, my mom fell in love. My dad, whatever.
Of course, stars.
He didn't even speak English. So, but and so what happened was when they went to Italy. And if I say this wrong, I gotta be careful. So I gotta see how this actually happened. But
I don't have that many listeners, so
No.
you're good.
No.
You're like, no.
Well, plus they got
don't agree with me.
It's all right. Well, if they're not tuning in TV. So my father bought her a friendship ring.
Aw.
Right? While they're in Italy.
That's so cute.
And I think my mother thought it was an engagement ring.
Oh, snap.
So, and of course, eventually that's what it was. But it was eventually a friendship ring.
Okay.
And so, then here I am.
So. Here's Vinny.
Number one, oldest of three. So.
I was going to ask, you're the oldest. You have 2 siblings. And mom and dad are still around.
Yeah.
Okay. Because dad's still working.
Yeah, as of right now, he's still working.
That's insane to me.
And he's in his mid-70s, so he's getting tired.
Yeah.
But he's a tough old guy.
Of course.
And, old school. So.
Of course, very old school. So you have 2 younger siblings. What, brother, sister?
So I have 2 sisters.
2 sisters. Oh, goodness.
So I was the only boy growing up in an Italian household in New York. So I mean, I had a good life. I had a nice childhood. And my middle sister, Melissa, she's a sergeant here at the sheriff's department in town.
I've met her.
And she will take you down.
I know, she's frightening.
Yeah, she'll take you down.
So sweet, but if I mess up, she'll take me down.
And then my baby sister, Amy, she's in the clothing business here in town, and she has a clothing store. So, 2 good girls.
Awesome. Growing up, how long did you live in New York?
So, born and raised, I left when I was 17 initially, just almost turned 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why? Where'd you go?
Well, we were going every year on vacation to California, and I thought, well, that's a really nice place. It was just beautiful, the beach and all that stuff. So they allowed me, my parents said, you know what, if you go to school, we'll let you go to California.
At 17.
At 17. I was almost 18, but
okay.
It was just a few months out. But so I did. I went to California. I never went to school. So I never went to a day. I never went to a day of schooling of college when I went out there. I ended up meeting Gina. It wasn't even 28 days into the initial move. I was just deathly homesick. I just wanted to go home. I found myself sitting on my grandmother's couch, who had just moved to California, and I just was wrapped up in blankets. I just want to go home to New York. And then one night, a friend of mine that I had met out there, he was an actor. And so I got to hang out with actors, and got to go on auditions with them in Hollywood and stuff. And I told them one day, I said, I just want to go home to New York. I'm really homesick. And I was. And they said, well, okay, look, this was a night we were all together. And so we were going out, and they said, let's go over here. I said, no, take me home. I really want to go home to my grandmother's house. And so here it is. They said, I'm going to show you Balboa Island, okay?
Wow.
It's called Newport Beach, whatever you call it. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It all looks the same down there.
It's real pretty.
Yeah, so they took me to Balboa Island. And as soon as we get out of the car, here's these 3 girls just running our direction. And so one of those 3 girls was my wife. And these jerks were chasing them. You know,
Aw.
they were just being jerks, and these guys, and because they were just going for a walk. And of course, the guy I was with, the actor guy, he was just this monster buff dude, and I was just this, little New Yorker, and he told them, back off, they're with us, And so these guys started throwing their hands, and they ended up leaving.
Look at you, Popeye the Sailor Man, coming in to save olive oil.
Yeah, well, I tell my wife all the time, where would she be, right? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So that's an edit.
So did you see,
anyway.
was it like, did you see Gina and you were just like...
No, I thought Gina was beautiful. I mean, she just
she is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, well, right, we're talking about, yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. I was going to say that, Gina.
She's
you are
a
beautiful.
stunner. She is beautiful.
So what happened was, so we met them. We talked for a few minutes, and I love this part of the story. We talked for a few minutes, just got to know each other. And I said, okay, well, hey, nice to meet you. Take care. Like I said, when I say I was homesick, I wanted to go home. Didn't want to talk to anybody.
Got it.
Okay. And so my wife said, well, here, you can take my number. If you just, if you stay around and, you want to see California at all,
okay.
You can give me a call, And so, Gina made the first move, I guess, That's
nice.
what happened.
I like that when the woman makes the first move.
Yeah,
She's
which is not
afraid.
her personality.
Really?
No, it's just must
Just
have been how attractive
something.
I was when I was younger. So, or maybe I was nice too. I don't know. But,
No,
that's gone now.
You were a little bit of her knight in shining armor. You kind of saved her a little bit.
That was a nice night. It was good.
So you guys start dating at that point?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I called her a few days later. Once again from home, from my grandmother's house, just kind of laying there, and I said, I'm gonna give her a call.
California's looking a little better at this point.
California started looking pretty nice. Yeah. So, and it was kind of funny because I called her a few days later, and we had our first date. And I being from New York, I didn't know where I was, didn't know how to get anywhere. And so I said, well, maybe no cell phones, right? Because there's no cell phones back then.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Long. Like
it wasn't that long, Trish.
It was a long time ago.
But so we ended up. She says, "Well, meet me at this mall, and we could walk around the mall."
Okay.
And I was supposed to be there at like 6:00. I got lost for 2.5 hours and no cell phone.
Oh no!
Every freeway looks the same. Every shopping center looks the same in California. Every mall looks the same. So what happened was, driving around. I was speeding everywhere, up and down freeways. And so now it's like 2.5 hours, no cell phone, no way to get a hold of her.
You're sweating.
I'm sweating. I think she's going to think I stood her up. Well, it turns out that she was like, I am not going to be stood up. That's what she said. She said to herself, I am not going to be stood up.
Uh-huh.
So she went and bought one of her favorite books that she liked to read. I guess, I don't know, I think it was like Daniel Steele or Daniel.
Oh, yeah, Daniel Steele. Daniel Steele novels.
Yeah. And she read like the whole book almost while she waited in that parking lot.
Poor girl.
And so finally I found it.
Okay.
And that was it. That was the beginning of our life together. We found it, and we've never been really apart. We've never been apart since.
Wow.
We got married at 19.
Wow,
so
Vinny.
got married at 19. We just had we're going to have our 27th anniversary, so we've been together almost 29 years.
Congrats on that.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So you, at this point, you're in California. You're staying there. You're on the West Coast. Do you guys go back to New York?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you do go back.
Yeah, so I got married, and we got married, and then we went back to New York, and we went back to the family business, which my father still had restaurants there. My uncle still had restaurants in New York.
Okay.
And so we went back.
Restaurants, what kind of restaurants? I'm assuming Italian?
Full fine dining Italian.
Okay. So these restaurants are all scattered around New York? Okay.
Westchester.
Okay.
So my family had restaurants in Rye Brook, Portchester, Harrison, Largemont, Mamaroneck, and the Bronx.
Okay.
Oh, and Rye, over at Playland.
So your family has been in the restaurant business forever.
So this is what we do. I'm third generation, Nick's fourth. They started in Italy with hotels and restaurants and movie theaters. They owned so many of those different things, always in the hospitality industry. So this is not something where you see so many people today, I got to open a restaurant. They think it's some glamorous job. It is the most subservient, hard-working business you could possibly, low-margin industry there is. I mean, it just is. So this is what we do. And then we just continued it out here in Oregon.
So, I mean, it's truly in your blood. This is something that's in your blood, you could say. And why do you think you are still in it? Because I know the Vinny's that you opened up here, you closed that or sold it in 2008?
I sold it the first time in 2007.
Okay.
Had to take it back. We sold Vinny's to my dad in 2012.
Okay.
2011, 2012. And yes, I did get out of it a couple times. So I wanted to be with my family more. I was watching them grow up. It was breaking my heart that, things were going so fast because we're so busy outside of the restaurant as a family too. But things were just going so fast, working nights, having multiple restaurants. We just said, you know what?
It's a lot.
We need to make some changes. And so we made some drastic changes. We walked away from pretty much, everything. I mean, we sold, we didn't walk away, but we got rid of it and we kept a simpler life. And now here it is with, Paisans. We have a very simple life. We still work a lot, but we close at 6. We're home at night. So.
Well, and a big part of closing too and sort of taking a break was Gina. That was a big decision for you guys.
Huge.
Yeah.
When she first got diagnosed with that autoimmune disease in 2007. Yeah, it was 2007, which would be 12 years ago, right? No, 12. Yeah, 2019. So 12 years ago, it devastated us because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. Matter of fact, we thought she was going to die because the doctors, she was in liver failure, kidney failure. And so it was on the news, it was on the newspaper, why I sold Gina. It was a very public thing. I felt that at the time it should be public because people couldn't understand, well, why are you walking away from this? At that time we've been voted best restaurant every year, best Italian restaurant in Southern Oregon. We actually got voted best Italian restaurant 11 years in a row when I had it. And so people just couldn't understand, why are you walking away from it?
For sure.
So I think it had to be public at that time.
Yeah.
And I think it worked out for the best.
Well, you're a fairly private person. I can feel you there. I'm somewhat private. But I think when people know you, and especially you were a figure, you had these commercials on TV. When you went to Vinny's, you saw Vinny, you. Yeah. And you would come over to the table and you would say hi and how's it going and how's the food. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of people were concerned. And it's one of those things you don't want to, air your laundry to everybody. But I do think people in the community probably felt like they knew you and they knew your family. And so they were concerned.
Yeah. We love our customers. We love our people. They have supported me. This valley has supported me time and time again. And really, I can't put into words my gratitude for that. They've seen me come and go. Maybe some people have been a little sideways at it. I've heard people, say, well, you come and you go. We do what we can to keep our priorities in life,
Right.
The restaurant is not me. The restaurant supports me. Do I love what I do? Absolutely. Do I love the people? Absolutely. Do I love the things that have come along with it? Yes. But we've done what we've had to do to survive and to you just keep making adjustments to. For
sure. How is Gina doing?
Gina's doing good. She goes she has her ups and downs. Unfortunately, we just had a pretty big down. She was sick for she had a flare, so she was down for 2-3 months. But they come and go. She has to take precautions.
And I can't imagine, because I know, I don't know firsthand, but I know restaurant life can be stressful. And then you've got this added stress at home with your bride that has these ups and downs. So there's a lot on your plate.
When you have a disease like that, it does the same thing that cancer does. Only there is no remission. It just constantly flares. There is no. So she did oral chemo twice, those things. And can the restaurant business be stressful? No, it is stressful. Every aspect about it. And, we live in a time, we live in these days that people are brutal. Trish, they're brutal. Yeah. I mean, people in general, they are, and there's no way of getting around it.
How do you mean they're brutal?
People are entitled. People feel that everything should be automatic. They feel like they should have it right away. We live in a town, especially Southern Oregon, and Southern Oregon has its benefits. That's why I keep coming back here. I love Southern Oregon.
Right.
But Oregon itself is becoming a chain-fed state. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen so many chain restaurants in such a small little area just keep popping up. So what happens? What does it do? It makes everybody think that they can go, and all these people, all these chains, it's Ziploc, microwave, prepackaged garbage that you go through a drive-through and 90 seconds, right? They get their meal.
Yeah.
Now, we are very competitive on our pricing, but here it is, you go to Paisan's. We've got a line out the door, as people see, all day long. But they expect it sometimes, if you're not a regular customer, maybe you're new, but they expect it right away. We've got to...
You got to make it.
I got to make it. So just like when we do we've done, how many years have we done our cooking segments with you? How many years have we done that? You've gotten to see maybe 50, 60 dishes, okay? And we speed them up for the show, right? We speed them up because we got to get into that 3-minute mark.
Right. Oh, you're very good at it.
Yeah. So now you take that one dish, multiply it by, we're going to serve at least 200 people a day, and each one has to be made. Excuse me. So, you know, people are like, you know, what's going on? I just ordered a slice of pizza. I ordered a calzone. Okay, well, the calzone's 12 minutes in the oven as it is. Oh, and by the way, did you see the 40 orders ahead of you too?
Preach, Vinny, preach.
So anyway.
What about the meatball wedge? Let's talk about the meatball wedge.
I got to tell you a funny story about this.
Okay.
Meatball wedge.
Meatball wedge.
So that time we did that one episode on the meatball wedges? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, tell it, what is a meatball wedge, first of all, for all those people who just don't know.
Oh, gosh.
Hair flip.
Okay. I used to be able to do that. I used to have long hair. So a meatball wedge is an Italian sandwich, right? And it's on a nice, you know, either it's on a nice baguette, it might be on an amoroso roll. We make our homemade meatballs, put the marinara sauce, the meatballs, then another tomato sauce on top. Then we got our mozzarella cheese, then we bake it, and we serve it on an open face bun, right? Open face wedge.
It's good.
So just recently, you know, I don't do social media, but I started to do it, right? Because I figured, you know, everybody thinks
I've been seeing you on social media. I like it.
Yeah, so
makes me hungry.
I don't know why I have never done it. I just never like it. I don't like some of the things it stands for, what people could attach you to them, and all of a sudden they're on your feet. It's like, whoa, where did that come from? You know,
I also think it's like, do people really care what I'm eating right now? Do they really care to see a picture of my dog?
No.
I don't
care.
Okay.
I mean, if it was you, Trish,
okay,
and I saw some of your stuff, you know, on the show, and I love your husband. He's a fantastic guy.
He's pretty great.
He is a really neat guy. He's a very cool guy, and so, but no, you don't want to see that stuff. Now, with that being said, I started doing social media. Okay, you kind of sidetracked me.
I'm sorry.
This is my time, Trish.
I know.
Okay, this is valuable time. I'm trying to tell a story.
I was late, and now I'm stealing your thunder.
Okay, so
I'm gonna shut up.
So this is good because you're involved in this story.
Okay, good.
So going back to why I started social media, right? That's not why I started, but what I'm doing with it. So I started putting stuff out there, and one of our episodes together, you were like, "It's a wedge.
A meatball wedge.
This is a wedge, Vinny. This is a wedge, right?" So I said, buddies from New York. Must have been watching on Facebook, and then they watched one of our shows together.
Okay.
And he says, damn straight, it's a wedge. They start replying from New York, you know?
Beautiful.
So, yeah, so they got to hear you say that. And
so there's a gal who, she's a resident. She's from New York. I think she knows you. And we were talking about you in the cooking segments and how much fun we have. And she was talking about all the gravy. She loves the gravy.
I know. My buddy Paul uses the word gravy.
That's tomato sauce.
Yeah, they use gravy. And it was funny because even growing up in New York, New Yorkers do use the word gravy.
Okay.
But those aren't New Yorkers that are in the restaurant business. We don't say gravy. So my best friend from childhood, he come to the restaurant all the time. We cruise over to the restaurants after school or whatever. He goes, yo, Vinny, give me some extra gravy on mine, you know?
I love it.
I'm like, dude, it's not gravy.
It's
I'm
not gravy.
I'm going to put extra tomato sauce if you like, but I'm not going to put gravy on it.
I'm not going to put gravy on it.
Yeah, because out here they call it gravy.
Okay,
too,
so one thing about your dad, we actually did a cooking segment with, is he Vinny Sr.?
Vincenzo.
He's not Vinny.
No, he's Vincenzo.
If I called him Vinny, would he get
upset? He'd go by Vinny. No, he would go by Vinny.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, our computer screens just flashed on me. There we go.
That's right.
But he's Vincenzo.
Mm-hmm.
Is he senior though?
Yeah.
And you're junior.
Yeah, he's Vincenzo. I mean, he's born and raised, he's an immigrant. So
exactly.
But and they named me after him in English, right, Vincent.
Mm-hmm. And so we're doing this cooking segment, and I said something about he was cooking, and I think I just stirred up something with the whole garlic and like the spices. And I was like, oh, Vinny puts in a lot more garlic than that. And I mean, he got a little upset with me.
Yeah, you should see. People used to come to the restaurant in New York just to see us fight. You know, I mean, so he would get so mad. He would get so mad at me in New York, and growing up cooking in the restaurant, he'd get so mad. We had swinging doors in the restaurants there.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew when he was getting mad because he just kicked that door shut, and that door would just, if you were trying to walk in, you're gonna get knocked out. He'd swing that door shut. He'd scream at me, one day, when you have your own money, you do your own recipe, you do your own food, you eat all my profits. He's screaming all the time. And so we just used to fight all the time. But you know what? We have a good relationship.
That's good.
You know, out here, people are very sensitive. I've seen on the West Coast, they're very sensitive people.
Delicate.
They're delicate. Mm-hmm. They're like little flowers, you know.
Penny.
So if you get up, you know, my wife and I had one Yelp review. Love the restaurant, love the food. Oh, but they fight all the time. That's not fighting. We're just talking.
That's family time.
That's good, solid quality conversation we're having. It's just a little heated.
You're right.
So, you know,
a little fire, if you will.
Just West Coasters. Come on.
Yeah.
You got to get some skin.
I would say Oregonians aren't so delicate.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I mean, Oregonians are very interesting people.
They are.
They are. And
especially the native Oregonians.
Yeah.
The ones who their families have come out here and they've just, they were kind of the first. They were the first folks out here in Oregon. Their stories are really interesting.
Yeah, I met one.
Really?
One Oregonian.
There's just one?
I met one.
How long have you been here?
I've been here. I've had restaurants in Southern Oregon for 20 years. I met one person that said they were born and raised in Oregon, maybe two.
I do not believe that.
All right, maybe there was two. But yeah, they are good people.
Okay.
And they've taken care of me, so I have nothing to
say.
But they need to understand there is, though, a culture outside
of course
of Oregon.
Of course. And I think a lot of people do get that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So don't be offended.
Don't be offended by the heated conversations you have with Nick in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Because I saw it firsthand.
But that was just warm up.
That was just fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I think sometimes I'm glad Nick loves me as much as he does, because there's a lot of knives in that kitchen, and they're everywhere, and they're all within reach. And I think sometimes he's gonna come after me, but no.
I think if you can have a heated conversation while you're working in a kitchen and you still just absolutely adore each other, that's family to me.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
And that's a special thing, Trish, about this industry that I'm in. So it's a special business.
Do you cook at home?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah? What do you cook at home?
I like to make soup. I like to make, like organic soups with all the good stuff in it. And then, like we mentioned Gina earlier, when she gets really sick, I like to make those soups for her. And then she'll eat them for like a week.
Super comforting.
Yeah, very bland. She can't have anything, but I like to make those organic vegetable soups. So.
You guys had 3 children?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And is Sophia the youngest?
Sophia is 17 and a half. She's the youngest.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Nick is in the middle?
Nick's in the middle. Then I have my oldest, Vinny.
Okay. So, and Vinny is where?
Unfortunately, Vinny is out of town. He's going to be out of town for a few more years. He's had some awful things happen to him in his life. And unfortunately, it's not private. Again, my life has been so public in this town.
It really has, Vinny.
We can't hide the fact that Vinny is in prison.
How's he doing?
He's doing great. I mean, honestly, he's doing great. He is obviously been rehabilitated in that sense off of the drug scene. He is fighting fires in the summer. He's planting trees in the winter. He's on a really good crew.
So he's doing like the prison inmate work programs.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's doing really good. Of course, I have high expectations for him. I hold him to a higher standard. There are some other things that he needs to come around and do, which are personal things, and I know he'll make it right with the people he needs to make it right with.
That's awesome.
So.
Well, good. I hope the very best of him, just because I know it would mean a lot for your family.
It would. We'd like to have him back one day.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Kind of complete everything. Awesome. And Nick is still cooking.
Yeah, Nick is with me at the restaurant every day. But you know Nick pretty well too on a personal level now from the
I've kind of watched him grow up a little bit.
You watched him grow up? Absolutely. Even from I mean, think about it. You've been part of our life for some time. And interesting thing about Nick is he's always doing something else. And so now he's got a pilot license. He's a pilot.
Stop it, really?
Yeah, it's kind of a trip, and of course he gets upset. Dad, why don't you fly with me? Well, Nick, I mean, he goes, how many people, fathers, wish their son had a plane and they could just go flying whatever they want. And I'm thinking, no, I don't think they would just go in a single engine propeller plane and
Nicholas.
just jump in with their son. So yeah, he just goes down the street. I'll be back I'll be late today or whatever, or this and that, or I have a flight, and all of a sudden I'll get a text message. It'd be a video from him flying somewhere by himself in an airplane, just showing me the pictures. And I'll tell you what, the Rogue Valley from there on a clear day,
stunning.
It is amazing when you get over the lakes, and amazing. He sends me pictures.
I think that's why a lot of pilots live here, to be honest. They have flown over this area and they're just like, I want to move here because it's so beautiful.
It is amazing from the air.
Well, Nick is a cutie patootie.
Yeah.
He's just a cutie pie. And what's Sophia up to these days?
Sophia works at the restaurant too. She homeschools. Sophia's really into horses.
Oh, nice.
Unfortunately, a month and a half ago, we had to put her horse down, which was rough.
Oh, I can't. Yes.
It was one of the hard. Oh my goodness! I think putting a dog down. Jeez, have you ever had to put a horse down?
No.
It's rough.
I can't even imagine.
They make them. They make them, even though they're dying on the ground of something. They make them get up to walk out to the open so a crane can eventually pick them up afterwards. And so they're just looking at you like, really? You're going to make me walk?
Oh, that's really heartbreaking.
But the vet was fantastic. He was kind and gentle. I cried like a baby. Just, of course, sideways so Sophia wouldn't see me, because she was already crying. And so now we have a friend that owns a ranch. He has a 300-acre ranch. They raise horses and cows and pigs and dogs. And Sophia works at the ranch now. She's just started working, helping. So it helped helped her heart. She's working with animals that she loves again. So
okay,
she's
awesome.
doing good.
Well, we're gonna wrap up just a little bit. I do have a question regarding Paisans. When did you guys open up Paisans?
March 2013. So we have our 6-year anniversary coming up.
Look at you.
In 2 months. I didn't think about that. It's in 2 months.
Were you just wanting to get back into the restaurant biz?
That's tough. When we moved to Hawaii, I was washing windows for a living. I had a cleaning company, so window washing was the main thing, then everything else. And I really liked it. The physical part was tough, but I really liked it. But I'll tell you, I missed the people. It was this huge gap. It was a huge void. I wanted my customers back.
Yeah.
To be part of my life. And I love to cook.
Well, and you're such a people person.
Yeah. I love talking to people. I love
talking, period.
Is that a good thing, Trish?
It is if you're in a podcast interview.
Yes. Okay.
All right. And Paisans is open when?
So we're still Monday through Friday. We're closed on the weekends. We do all our private events on Saturdays. We book out the restaurant. So if you have a private event, we have a minimum, and then they have the whole restaurant to themselves. Monday through Thursday, 11 to 6. Friday, 11, we stay open till 8. We serve our full menu all day long. So you could have dinners, whatever it is, all day.
Pizza
by the slice.
Calzones.
Wedges.
Meatball wedge.
And
also the New York cheesesteak, not the Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah, we call it the Philly because what's the New York steak? Yeah. So we call it a Philly steak. But I'll tell you what, our New York cheesecake will take out any street vendor. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And look at our new menu that we're bringing. Look at our specials. We're going to be doing a New York chopped cheese sandwich. You ever hear of chopped cheese?
No.
Oh man, it is like the ultimate New York sandwich. It is chopped beef with cheese and onions mixed in, and just over on Amoroso with a ton of melted cheese on top of that.
You had me at cheese.
Yeah.
Done. All right. Well, go see Vinny. Follow him on social media. like the pics, especially if you see the meatball wedge with the gravy. Okay, I'm done. That's my New York accent. That's the limit.
I love your New York accent.
It's awful.
I love it.
It's awful.
I absolutely love it. It's like, it just makes me smile.
Okay, good. Anything to make you smile, Vinny. All right, final 3. Best advice you've ever been given.
There's been a lot of advice. I've been given great advice my whole life, actually. One of them is actually one that I've tried to live by, and it's actually a Bible principle. And it says that a lover of silver will never be satisfied with silver, and wealth with income. And of course, it's not just talking about money. Mm-hmm. It's talking about anything that could draw you away from what's important.
Okay.
So it's helped me stay focused on who I am. It's helped me stay focused on my family and keeping a simple life, but recognizing that stuff can really take you away. And you know what? When you're thinking about money all the time, you'll never be satisfied with money. And when you think about things, you'll never be satisfied. You'll never have enough.
Yeah.
Another good advice, just real quick, I'll share that with you. It's funny. It was a guy, and I wouldn't be here today if I didn't listen to that advice with the restaurant business. We had a couple of characters with restaurants next to us in New York, and he was one of those guys you see on TV. They make TV shows about these people. I grew up around them.
Okay.
And he found out I was leaving the family business, and he sat me down in his restaurant. He said, "Look, let me tell you something." He said, "If you're going to leave the family business, remember what I said. This advice I was given, I'm going to give it to you." And he was like, in my face. And they say it nice, kind, but they're intimidating at the same time.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
So he says, if you leave this family business, your father here, and you leave him, you don't move for 3 years. You stay where you are. I don't care how unhappy you are. 3 years, you stick it out in that one place. I got to Oregon, moved to Grants Pass. I saw the caveman. I wanted to cry, I was like, I am no way I'm staying in Oregon, right? There's no way I'm staying in Oregon. And then that voice,
right?
You don't move for 3 years.
Stick it out.
Conversation. It's 20 years later, so.
That's awesome. Who was that guy? Do you remember? Do you remember his name?
He was just a guy.
Just a guy.
Just a guy.
A guy who knows a guy.
Just a guy. Yep.
All right. If you ever left this place, Southern Oregon, what would bring you back? What would you miss the most about this place?
I think what we talked about, the scenery. Mm-hmm. The scenery is special. I love the woods. I don't get up in the woods enough. Mm-hmm. I love the ocean. I don't get to the ocean enough. I love the mountains, but I don't get to the mountains enough.
You can see them, though.
But you can see
them. It's comforting.
It is. It's a beautiful thing. When you look at creation in itself, it is a powerful, beautiful thing.
Would you consider Southern Oregon a little bit of a home now? Second home, mm-hmm. First home, a home in general?
Yeah, I think I'd have to by default. Because
I agree.
I've been here now as long as I've been in New York, even a little bit longer. And I've made some very good friends, lots of good friends, and a lot of people that are special to me are here. Mm-hmm. So, and it's been very good to me. Okay,
final meal, Vinny. What would that look like? Final drink, final meal. And you don't have to cook it. You're served, and you can have whatever you want. Eat all day long.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. If I had a final meal and a final drink, I don't think it would be anything have to do with food or wine. I think I would want to sit at a table with my wife, my boys, and my daughter. I just want to sit there with my family, just look at them, and they would already know what I'd tell them, and they would know where I would tell them to meet me one day. So I think that'd be my final meal. It wouldn't have any food. I just want to sit down with my wife and my kids, all at one table again, and all of them healthy. That would be my final meal. So
that may just happen sometime soon.
I hope so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Vinny, there's very few people in this life that when I see them and they just put a smile on my face, and you are in that group for me. You just have good vibes.
I appreciate that, Trish. I do. Thank you.
And you can cook a hell of a meatball wedge.
All day.
All day. Meatball wedge all day.
Down at Paisan's.
All right. If you're listening to this podcast on iTunes and you like it, please subscribe, rate, and review. It helps other people find us. We're also on Google Play and Stitcher. You can check out the video portion of this podcast. And for this one, maybe recommend you do. That's at ktvl.com. Just click on features and then off script. Once again, episode 40, Vinny DiCostanzo from Paisan's.
We'll
talk about it.